What's up, brothers? What's up, brothers, sisters, or whatever it is you call yourself? I don't judge, but since you saw LFA and you press play, you might as well stay and have a better day. Corniest opening line in the manosphere. It will give me some dislikes, but that's okay. Just promise me one thing. If you watch the video all the way through and you got something out of it, revoke that dislike and swap it out with a like. We'll call it even. Now, this week's video request is to make a video about the potential dangers of discussing the red pill with a female. Whether it be your girlfriend, your wife, significant other, or a friend with benefits, whatever it may be. Because it's sort of a, it's sort of well known that when women watch red-pilled content creators, and first of all, the red pill is synonymous with game. Some people call it the red pill, some people call it game. The definition is the same. The definition of the red pill is understanding the ins and outs of intersexual dynamics. The definition of game is understanding the ins and outs of intersexual dynamics. Same thing. Being red-pilled and having game, same exact thing. Now, when women watch content creators, typically they think we are assholes or womanizers. You're right about that. That's obvious. So you're probably thinking, if you're caught watching red-pilled content creators or, reading articles from content creators like myself, that you'll be viewed as an asshole just for reading it. That's a common belief. And the truth is, you are right. If you think that way, you are absolutely right. That's a fact. But here's the thing. Women do not want to feel like you're explaining the game to them. They don't want to feel like you're playing the game on them. They want to play the game with you. They want to feel like it's happening naturally. They want it to be smooth. This is why you never talk about the red pill with women. You just don't bring it up. You do it. You put it into action, but you never talk about it. It is pointless. Talking to a woman about the red pill is the equivalent to walking out on a football field and discussing your playbook to your opponent. All that awesome game plan you came up with throughout the week. It's not so awesome anymore when the opponent knows it, when they know what plays you're about to run. You've just lost your edge. I'll go ahead and give you an example. Okay, today's Valentine's Day, right? So if I were to call a woman or text a woman and say, hey, why don't you come over? I want to have sex with you. I'll light some candles and have sex with you. Obviously, that's not going to work, right? I'm telling her the game plan. You're not supposed to tell her the game plan. You're supposed to execute it. So instead, I would call her and text her and say something like, since you don't have anything going on and it's Valentine's Day, why don't I light some candles? We can watch some movies. We can just chill. And at least we can say we spent time with somebody and we did something romantic on Valentine's Day. And of course, as soon as she comes over, I'm going to be sucking on her nipples. But that's not the point. The point is, I'm not telling her the game plan, I'm executing it. Does that make sense? Okay, moving forward. The red pill and game are simply, it's just simply having an understanding of a subject. You know, you can be red pill. You can have game in the streets, right? The mafia has game in the streets. It's the street game, the crime game. So what do? They have discussions. They learn about things. You know, and they're in the same neighborhood as the Irishmen, the Crips, the Bloods, the Latin Kings, the Dominicans, the police officers. And all of these groups are trying to make money, power, respect in the same area without getting shot or put in jail. Okay. So the bosses get together and they have conversations and they figure out how they're going to accomplish this. That's the crime game. We're talking about the dating game. Same thing. In the dating game, you have alpha males. They're in the front charging. You know, they're about their business. They're aggressive. You have beta males. They don't mind playing in the background, you know, waiting their turn, maybe every now and then getting lucky. And then you have, you know, your simps, your beta orbiters, your male feminists, you know, your friend zone guys. These are the guys that are basically in the exiles. They don't get a chance at all, you know. And what we talk about in the red pill is we help guys that are beta males or beta orbiters or male feminists, friend zone guys, get out of the exiles, you know, and maybe learn how to charge and be up front. Because when you put it like that, it is easy to get somebody to switch from this to that. You know, it's easy to convert somebody from being in the exiles, an absolute weak beta male, to, you know, getting a little more aggressive and having those alpha characteristics, so to say. Now, with that being said, you know, that whole answer could be, or that whole question could be answered just by saying, you know, the line from, what's the movie, Fight Club? The number one rule of Fight Club, don't talk about Fight Club. The number one rule about game or the red pill, don't talk about it. Women want you to play the game with them in a natural way that makes them feel good, it's fun, they're enjoying themselves. They don't want you to explain game or the red pill to them. It'll go right over their head and they'll think, wow, this guy is really an asshole. He's just trying to get in my pants. You know, but if it happens naturally, they're going to love it. They're going to enjoy the experience. Now, with that being said, I want to give you the biggest piece of game or red pill I could ever possibly give you. And that is that women are by far the more submissive of the two sexes. And if you want to make a woman submit, you have to make a good impression on the woman, because women are very impressionable. Males tend to be more hard-headed. We're stuck in our ways. You know, we have like a straight line mindset and we just kind of stick with it. Women are impressionable. They just are by nature, and that's what makes them submissive. And I don't like to use the term training. You know, it sounds like I'm calling women pets, and I don't mean it like that, but you know, women are more trainable than men are. They are, you know, they're more agreeable than men are. So as a male, a man, what you have to do is you have to establish rules and boundaries. Let me give you an example. Probably the biggest life lesson of rules and boundaries that I ever learned was actually by my high school football coach. I showed up to practice one day. I smoked a lot of weed before practice. You know, I wasn't much of a smoker, but this day I was just, you know, high as a kite. Walked into practice and my football coach looked at me and he said, look, if you want to smoke weed, be my guest. You know, you can leave here, you can smoke all the weed you want. But if you want to be a member of this team, that shit will not be tolerated. Now, that is definitely applicable to your relationships with women. Now, you don't want to be an asshole. You don't want to be a complete prick and demand that women behave a certain way. You know, you can't force a woman to behave the way you want her to behave. You know, we're not cavemen. You can't just fucking scream at her, control her, abuse her, and get her to act a certain way. That's not how you do it. Some guys try it, but typically end up in jail or, you know, end up being single and lonely. It's just not a good look. But how you get a woman to get in line with your way of thinking, to submit to you, to be trained. Again, I don't like using that term, but you know, whatever. Is simply to set rules and set boundaries. Just like the football coach, if you want to be here, that shit won't be tolerated. Same thing with a woman. You know, for example, let's say you're an adult, you're a father, let's say you have an 18-year-old son or daughter, and they're still living at your home, and they're coming home every night at 3 a.m., and you're tired of it. So you wait one night, you wait in the living room at 3 a.m., you wait for them to walk in. Now, screaming at them, giving them a whooping isn't going to do you any good. They're grown now. So you just have a civil discussion with them. You let them know you're old enough to do whatever you want to do. And if you want to leave, you can leave. If you want to move out, you can move out. You want to get your own place, you can get your own place. But if you want to stay in this home, you'll be home by 12 o'clock. This 3 a.m. shit will not be tolerated. You know, same thing, right? Same, we'll call it daddy energy. Of course, that's with your child, but the same thing carries over with women. You have daddy energy with women that you can use. Now, let's say your girlfriend wants to start an OnlyFans, or she, you know, wants to go out with her girlfriends and, you know, go to some nightclub where she's, you know, with her slut friends that are always hooking up with random dudes. It's not a good atmosphere that you want her to be in. Now, you can be an absolute asshole prick and demand that she doesn't go. You can try to force her to do as you say and to do what you want her to do. But that's not usually going to work. That's controlling, borderline abusive. But what you can do is say, well, you're a grown adult. If you want to create an OnlyFans, or if you want to go out with your friends who are always sleeping with random dudes and act like you're a single chick, that's fine. But if you want to be in this relationship, that shit won't be tolerated. You know, it's as simple as that. You're just setting rules and boundaries. And whatever your rules and boundaries are, those are your rules and boundaries. You know, it doesn't matter what your favorite dating coach's rules and boundaries are. It doesn't matter what mine are. It doesn't matter what your best friends are. It matters what yours are. If it's something that makes you unhappy or you uncomfortable, you need to set the rules and boundaries right there as they are. You know, and you never let those boundaries be crossed or those rules be broken. That's the key to having the type of relationship that you want to have in life, you know. And by doing this, like I said, women are by far the more submissive of the two genders, and women typically do not want to upset their boyfriends or their husbands. They don't really like to. They would rather things be going well. And, you know, at least they know that they're being taken care of. They are, what's the word I'm looking for? They feel secure. If you set rules and boundaries for them, it makes them feel secure. And again, you're not forcing them to do anything. You're just setting rules and boundaries. They have the option to cross those boundaries and break those rules, but they understand that that is going to be something that's going to affect the relationship in a negative way. and she can have rules and boundaries for you too. So it goes both ways. That would be my biggest piece of advice, my best piece of advice for you in terms of red pill or game. Always follow that. Establish rules and boundaries, and don't let them be broken or crossed. Hope that makes sense to you. In other news, what's going on in the world today? Biggest news of the week by far. A county in Florida had their water supply hacked, and they increased a chemical that made the water poisonous. And then you combine this with the fact that the federal government is discussing domestic travel bans related in particular to the state of Florida. Imagine if your water supply is poisoned and you are being forced by the federal government to stay in that state. Wouldn't that be crazy? Very strange stuff, when you dabble into politics, it's very strange stuff right now. 2021 is a bizarre year, It's difficult to even talk about, but I don't want to get too far into that because they don't really like us to talk about that stuff on YouTube. Maybe we should discuss that topic in another video on Rumble. We'll just have a whole video about that. That sounds like a good idea. I'll get it started. So I guess we'll end the YouTube video with that. Now, like we said in the beginning, you saw LFA, you press play, you had a better day. It's not an easy task to get tens of thousands of people to have a better day at one time, but I try my damn best. So if you got something out of this video, be sure to hit the like button, revoke the dislike if you put a dislike, subscribe to the channel, maybe hit that notification bell. That's about all I have for tonight, guys. Until next time, see ya.